Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me again today. And if you will go ahead and grab a Bible or your phone or tablet, and let's go back to the 119th Psalm, Psalm 119. We'll be beginning in verse 58 today. Psalm 119, verse 58. And we're going to see in these next couple of verses that the psalmist, because of his condition, and again, remind you, we talked a little bit yesterday. It appears from reading this section that the psalmist has had something taken from him, whether it was possessions, physical possessions, not sure. Um, but he appears from the context to have again had some loss. And so now in verse 58, we're going to see him offer up a prayer in light of that. And so he says these words. He says, I entreated thy favor with my whole heart. Be merciful unto me according to thy word. And again, so whatever has happened here in verse 57 that has led him to realize that his only resource is God. That whatever has been taken away from him, as we said yesterday, the saying that when you find God as all you have, you find God as all you need. And so when he gets to that point, he turns to God because he realizes that God is then the only one that can give him the strength that he needs, the favor, as he calls it in this passage, that he needs to get him through this circumstance, his suffering that we have been talking about, and so he prays for God's mercy. And the word mercy literally means to show kindness or to show favor. And I don't know who to give credit, but many of you have heard me say this before, that the definition of two important biblical words, grace and mercy, is grace is God not giving us what we do deserve, and mercy is God giving us what we don't deserve. And so he is praying for God's mercy. And he says something that I think is extremely good for us to note. Be merciful unto me according to thy word. John Phillips, he points out in talking about this passage that we use the phrase sometimes, throw yourself on the mercy of the court. And I'm paraphrasing what Philip said, mainly because he's much more eloquent than I am. But he says, we throw ourselves on the mercy of the court. And when we do that, we are literally at the mercy then of the court for whatever mood the judge, the court, may be in. That if you can only, you would hope it wouldn't be so, but I think it's reasonable to believe that you could go in and throw yourself on the mercy of the court, and if the judge has had a bad day, his dog got run over, his wife's been fussing at him, his kids are not listening or something, that his mercy may be different that day than to go in the next day. When he's got a bonus at work and promotion, and his wife cooked his favorite meal, or whatever. I'm just making stuff up here, but you understand what I'm saying. To throw yourself at the mercy of the human court, um, could be a dicey situation. But when you throw yourself here on God's mercy, what he says is, I want your mercy according to your word. I want your mercy. I plead for your mercy that lines up with your word, and that is a entirely different situation because we know according to the word of God that he never changes. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That his mercy is always the same. That he doesn't, it isn't, it isn't up to the latest whim. It isn't up to the latest, whatever's going on that day. So what we learn as we think about that then is because of his mercy, we can we have confidence in the mercy of God. His mercy is based on His word. It's based on His personality. Thankfully, it's not based on what I've done or based on what I have earned or based on my attitude or my actions. The mercy of God when he says, and the other thing is when he says, based on your word, we know that God has promised mercy, a tender and a sweet mercy that God has given to us. And so, as we think about our situation, he goes on. He says, "I entreated thy favor with my whole heart. Be merciful unto me according to thy words. I thought on my ways and turned my feet unto thy testimonies." And so he is again just placing himself into the the hands of God. He's placing himself again in trusting God in his situation. That's a great lesson for you and I today. That no matter where you find yourself and how you find yourself, we can always trust in the mercy, the goodness of God. Again, it doesn't change. It's always the same. It's not again based on your actions or activities, but again, I remind you that the mercy of God is God giving us what we don't deserve. Again, grace is us not getting what we do deserve, but His mercy is Him not giving us what we, or Him giving us what we don't deserve. And the Bible tells us His mercy is new each day. And so as you go out into your day to day, let me just remind you, you can count on, you can live in and enjoy the mercy of God to sustain you and support you, to go with you through your struggles and your battles. And so we call on, we rely on the mercy of God. I hope that helps you today to be reminded of the great mercy of our God. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.